That's honestly a tough question. 10 words or less. Okay, I need to actually count these. Um, a monster child from the underworld makes friends. Ugh, let me try that again. Okay, 10 words or less. A monster child from the underworld journeys above for friendship. Our journey publishing a children's book. It's really been a fun and a lot of times challenging journey, but very rewarding. So we started off with just the stories. I took some time off from working, and I just focused on writing stories, and I was able to write 10 children's books, The Little Zombie being the strongest and our favorite. But from there, what's the next steps for us? We have the stories, like what do we do next? So doing things like copyright, doing things like organizing our business, starting an LLC, investing in like things we need to be able to promote, to market, to really create our business from the ground up. The Little Zombie was our strongest story. We wanted to go with that first when starting our business, and we were really confident about it. We thought the message was universal, that anyone could pick it up, read it, like the art, like the story, connect with the characters, and we had to do our publishing setup. And publishing was a roller coaster. You know, we had to get our book formatted to the right way. We had to think about the fonts. We had to think about the spacing. My partner thankfully did all of the hard work, and I only had to help make decisions here and there on like how it looked. But overall, it's just been a fantastic journey. I learned so much. Starting a business is super rewarding because the more you put into it, you know, it all goes back towards you, and it all goes back towards making your dreams come true. One of the biggest inspirations for us to start a children's book company was actually Edward Gorey. We were on vacation in Portland, and we came across like their really big bookstore, and there was a book called The Ghastly Crumb Tinies. It was a children's horror book where they go through the alphabet. Every kid had like their letter correlate with the alphabet, and it had some really morbid fate. We had never experienced a children's book like that, so we thought, how fun would it be to make children's horror stories? And I was also inspired by Dr. Seuss, who made really wonderful stories that really, you know, touched on your heartstrings. And the idea was, what if we combined, you know, the masterpieces that Dr. Seuss would make, that masterful storytelling, with Edward Gorey's kind of more morbid kind of horror storytelling. That's why we came up with The Little Zombie. We came up with The Little Zombie because it was a horror story full of heart, and those are the kind of stories that we want to make. I really think that every child that reads The Little Zombie, I want them to take away that you don't necessarily need to win over others every time. I think that it's really important to love and accept yourself and find those people that, you know, can appreciate you for who you are, for the wonderful person that you already are. And I really think that's a really big takeaway. I would say another thing that I want, you know, children reading the book to take away is that you don't really need to change yourself to be accepted by others. You know, there's something special and unique about you, and that's something that should be treasured. And I really hope that for everyone that reads this book, children, parents, or just people that really like great art and good stories, that they get something and they get those messages out of the book. Another really important lesson is that you lose yourself by not being who you are. I really think that it'll be apparent as you read through the story and see Asriel's development in the story. You'll see like how it affects them, and I hope that as you look at that, it'll be a reflection of how you see yourself.